how to attract clients in 20 words or less. And he's a very good copywriter. That doesn't mean he copyrights your material, that means he writes material for you. And I've talked to other people that say he's the best copywriter they've ever known. And he's a young guy. I think, what are you, 18, 19, 20? He's 20. And so a lot of people would think, well, he's 20, but you know, the young mind is very creative. And he hasn't gotten to the point like my mind has gotten to. But he has great information. He's taught in corporate situations, and he's developing his own seminar right now. So I said, the way I can help you best is for you to come and talk to the people about it. Because I love the subject. Marketing is something that is so elusive. How do you market and become effective at it? And he's going to help us be much more effective at it. Why don't we stand up? We've been sitting for about 15, 20 minutes now. Stand up and give Samuel a big round of applause.
Thank you so much. That definitely exceeded my expectations if I had any. I am so excited to be here with you today. Today you're going to learn something valuable, but also immediately practical and applicable to you and your business as you go home. It's going to be hands-on. So you're going to practice something live and in person. And here's the best part, we're going to have a lot of fun in the process. So let's dive in. I have a question to start off. Why are we here? Can you give me some answers? Why are we here in this room right now, this time of day?
To learn about our businesses and how to help them succeed.
How to help our businesses succeed. Excellent. Any other answers?
How to suck the life out of you so I can learn a lot more about what I know.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. I love it. Anybody else? Anybody else? Have some answers. Why are we here today? Why are we spending this time? You know, this is a lunch meeting. And lunch meetings tend to just kind of walk up and chomp a big section out of the middle of your day. It's time, okay? We're spending time. We're going to have a great reason we're here in person. Why we travel. Why we're sitting here, paying for our lunch. What is it? Grow our businesses. That's good. Yes. Excellent, because we love the people. You have one back there? There you go. To meet people you know, like, and trust. Yes, Brenda.
To learn to write powerful headlines for your marketing.
Excellent. Well, that is a great reason. We'll end with that. And here's what I want to say. I believe if I were to summarize all the answers you just gave me, I think there's one reason, when you get down to it, that we're all here. You may not like what I'm about to say, so allow me to explain. I think we are all here to get attention. And what I mean by that is all of you in some way, shape, or form hope that by the time you leave today, more people will know what you were up to than when you came. And for good reason. Because building your business always starts with grabbing attention. And I'd say probably one of the biggest challenges in small business marketing is popping through the chaos. Right? Getting noticed. Getting some people that takes time to look at what you have to offer, to engage them in your message. And I'm a seminar copywriter, as Mike mentioned. And my challenge is not just to get someone to click a link or to watch a video or even to buy something, but also to get them to get in their cars and travel somewhere to a live event. It's a huge challenge. And as I thought about what I could give you today that would be immediately beneficial for you, I knew it had to be getting attention. Creating that irresistible headline that's going to get you noticed and get attention for your business. So today we're going to learn how to grab attention in 20 words or less. And as I said, you'll be able to learn this. You'll be able to practice this live and in person. You'll all walk out with a skill, not just a couple of tips and ideas, okay? So here we go. To start with, why am I focusing on one little sliver of your marketing piece? This is one sentence. What's the big deal? Well, it's actually a lot more than just a tiny sliver of your marketing message. It's your one and your only chance to get the attention of your target audience. If you can't do it then, doesn't matter how great your body copy is or the rest of your message, the rest of your Facebook post, nothing's going to happen, right? Now, David Ogilvy, not sure if any of you know that name. He is a legendary legendary advertising mind, okay? He is responsible for some blockbuster campaigns for Rolls-Royce, American Express, huge, huge accounts. Here's what he said. He said, on average, 5 times as many people read your headline as read the rest of the message. So what does that mean? That means if you're spending money to advertise yourself, if your headline isn't irresistible, you're wasting 84 cents out of every advertising dollar. So it's obviously very, very important, and research has shown that a powerful headline is often enough to push the reader through your entire message. Okay? So we're going to dive into this. To start with, how do you get attention? And this is the heart of what I'd like to show you today. We're going to start with this. And to help you understand this process, imagine something with me. Imagine I'm standing over here, and I'm holding my product. I love my product. I made my product. I can tell you all about my product. I can tell you what it's made out of. I can tell you where the ingredients came from. I can tell you about all the wonderful things my product can do. I love my product, and you should buy my product. Right? So this is great. You know your product. Now over here is your reader. Your reader has his own set of priorities and dreams and wishes and hopes and aspirations and biases and misconceptions. And your job to grab attention is to reach across, to bridge the gap, and create a connection. And this is a mindset shift. This is foundational. This is going to affect all of your marketing. And this may seem elementary to some of you, but advertisers big and small miss this all the time. So here's what we're going to do. We're basically going to shift our mindset. Instead of talking about how great our product is and what it can do, we're going to talk about what it does for the reader and how it benefits the reader. So we're looking at our product from the mindset of our reader. So here's how to do that. On each of your tables, you have a handout. There should be a stack. I put 8 on each table. So I'm going to give you just a couple seconds to pass those around the table. If there's more than 8 people at your table, you may have to get some extras from another table because there's less than 8 right here. So maybe some extras. So I'm going to give you just some time to pass those around, make sure everybody has one. Extras on the front table. Excellent. Can you raise your hand if you don't have a handout? Oh, great. All right. Looks like we're doing good. Okay. How to grab attention. How does this work? We're bridging the gap. We're connecting me and my product to my reader. So to do that, you really need to answer 2 main questions. And this is the first heading in your handout. Here are the 2 questions that we need to answer, okay? The first one is, how does my product help my target audience achieve a priority? How does my product help my target audience achieve a priority? Now, your target audience already has priorities in place. Your target audience already wants to lose weight. They already want to make money. They already want to build a business. They already want to get clients. These priorities are in place. What you need to do is merely demonstrate that your product will help them get there. So you position your product as a solution. So the first question is, how does your product help your reader accomplish priority? That's achieve a priority. All right. Second question. How does my product help my target audience avoid a problem? Avoid a problem. Because as you know, pain is a big motivator. And when we've done research about this, we found that sometimes we're more motivated to avoid pain than we are to accomplish pleasure. So you need to think about what you're helping your target audience avoid. This is very important because Your target audience is also trying to get around things, to avoid things. And your product needs to be a solution to that problem. So those are your two questions. This is bridging the gap. If you answer those two questions, you are now looking at your product from the perspective of your reader. That is powerful. You can market your product from that perspective. You can create it, you can grab attention. You can create that connection and motivate them to take an action. Okay, so this is the first thing. Answer these two questions and you bridge the gap. So at this point, I'd like to give you 4 examples of irresistible headlines. Okay, and so we're starting to kind of get closer and closer to what we're talking about. By the end of the day, you'll have the headline that you've written. So here are a couple examples to get us started. How to win friends and influence people. You've heard that headline before? This headline is tried and true. It's a universal appeal. Who doesn't want to win friends and influence people? Accomplishing a priority. Powerful, powerful headline. Here's another example. You can laugh at money worries if you follow this simple plan. How great is that? Sign me up. That's pretty simple. These are rudimentary. I'm giving you examples, number 1, that are tried and true. These are from decades past. They worked on a large scale. And second of all, they're simple. They really illustrate what we're trying to get across here. Another good example. 1, 2. Your services as a highly paid real estate specialist. If your target audience is real estate specialists, this is going to grab your attention because it's talking about you, stroking your ego, right? Highly paid real estate specialists who are offering money. There's a lot of motivators in there. Benefit, benefit, benefit. We're not talking about the product. You don't know what the product is, right? We're leading with the benefit. That's how we're bridging the gap. That's how we're grabbing attention. We're talking about benefits. The 4th headline I want to give you is one that you've seen recently. How to grab attention in 20 words or less. Okay, and the reason I mentioned this headline is because I got some feedback on it. I got a call from an Emmy Award-winning television producer, voiceover talent, whole bunch of experience with national publicity. She called me from another state. Somehow this email had been passed through a couple of layers of friends and ended up in her inbox. She's on the phone with me. She's going, I've never seen a headline that grabbed my attention more than this. This is the best one I've ever seen. I clicked on it, I went through the email, I went on your website, and I was on the phone with you in 2 minutes. Okay, now these results aren't typical, and I wish she just, sent me a check for $100,000 just for being cool, but, life doesn't seem to work out that way. But anyway, that's just to show you that this stuff works. This stuff absolutely works. And so now, what I'm going to give you is a scoring system. These are 4 qualities that your headline must have to be irresistible. And this you could use in creating your headline and also in assessing headlines that you have to determine how well they're going to work in the real world. Okay, so we're going to use this in a minute in the hands-on section. But right now I'm just going to go through these. These are the 4 U's of irresistible headlines also on your handout. So here we go.
The first U
Of an irresistible headline.
is
Your headline, urgent. Urgent. Irresistible headlines give the reader a reason to act now. There's a motivator. It's time sensitive. Here's a good example of an urgent headline. The 5 tech stocks you must own now. Okay? Now, I want to just stop and say this. Adding the word now at the end of your headline in capital letters doesn't necessarily make it urgent. This is because of the nature of the stock market, right? So the advertiser used that to his advantage. 5 tech stocks you need to own now. All right. The second U, unique. Is your headline unique? It needs to be different than anything that the reader has seen before. It needs to be your own, right? Okay, here's a good example of a unique headline. Stay one step ahead of the stock market, just like Martha Stewart, but without her legal liability. So there we go. I mean, the product was probably not that special. It was probably a stock market newsletter or investing advice or something. But the presentation was unique. Then it grabbed attention. This is where you get to be creative, okay? Then you're creating your headline. The third U. We talked about being urgent. We talked about being, what was the second U? Thank you. We talked about being unique. Now we're going to talk about being ultra specific. Ultra specific. This is important because if you can mention specifics in your headline, a specific promise, you're going to grab attention. Here's a great example of a specific headline. At 60 miles an hour, the loudest noise in this new Rolls Royce is the tick of the electric clock. This headline was written by, who was it? David Ogilvy. It's his most famous headline. In fact, it's the one that he supposedly rewrote 104 times.
60 words.
60 words, there you go. And the reason he counted 108 times, I'll never know. I'm guessing he got to like the 8th or 9th rewrite. Get this, get somebody in here to start counting. He's going to make a great story in 50 years or something. But this is an example of a specific headline. It's ultra specific. So we talked about being urgent, being unique, being ultra specific. The final and most important view of irresistible headlines is being useful. Useful. This is all about value. This is about bridging the gap. This is about talking about something that your reader already cares about. Helping them to achieve that priority they already have. Right? Useful. Here's a great example of a useful headline. 7 questions you should ask before you hire a collection agency, and 1 good answer to each. Now the great thing about this headline, if you think about it, is that it's offering value just for reading the ad. And that's kind of hard to do, but it's powerful. If you're writing a headline for your blog post, it better be offering value just for reading the ad, or the body copy, or the message. This is probably the most important you, because if you can be useful, you're tapping into those motivations that are already existing. Okay? So let's review the 4 U's. Your irresistible headline needs to be urgent, needs to be unique, needs to be ultra specific, and needs to be useful. So now I'm going to give you an opportunity to practice this. But before we jump into that, I'm going to give you one more example of a headline, and we're going to go through and score it for each of the 4 U's to give you an idea how this applies to creating headlines, all right? So I wanted to choose a headline at this point that was more everyday. The headlines that you've been hearing so far are kind of big and grandiose. I doubt that you are selling products like this today. You might be. But I wanted to choose something that maybe you would expect to see in your inbox when you get home today and look at your email. This is more of an everyday headline. And also, it's one that grabbed my attention. So here we go. Get your prospect's attention with a quick 5-minute meeting. Get your prospect's attention with a quick 5-minute meeting. Let's talk about this real quickly before we jump into the score. Our priorities have to do with talking to prospects and getting sales. So if I'm promising you tips or a system that you can spend just 5 minutes with your prospects and grab enough attention to sustain to a next meeting where you can get open doors to talk more and create a sale, that's valuable. Okay? And that is in line with what I want to do. So that grabs my attention because of that. Let's go through each of the 4 U's. Give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You can say yes or no, or A or nay, or whatever you want to say. We're going to say, is it one or the other? Here we go. The first one. Is this headline urgent?
Yes.
Does it give me a reason to act now?
Yes.
Does it really? Is there a time-sensitive element?
There always is when it comes to prospects.
Yes, that's true. Here's the thing. And this is good, because this can help you clarify this in your mind. I could look back at that email 2 years from now, and that content is going to still be in place. I can still click on that email, I can still look at it. There's no reason telling me to take an action to click on that email right now. So that's actually not urgent at all. If it said there's a special report about this online, it's only available till midnight, then maybe I do something about it, right? So does that clarify what it means to be urgent? Reason to act now, okay? All right, let's go to this second. Is it unique? Is it different? Is it different than what you normally see? Okay. I'm getting about half and half. And I think you're right. I think it's sort of unique. I think that in the greater scheme of appeals, teaching you how to get your prospect's attention in a 5-minute meeting is unique. There's a lot of different things you could read about online, a lot of different content that you can have. I think it does okay with being unique. I think you could jazz it up a little bit more, but it does okay, all right? So, it's not urgent, it's sort of unique. Is it ultra specific? Are there numbers, data in there? Yes or no? 5 minutes, you said it. It's telling us that in just 5 minutes, we could get our prospect's attention. Right? So you could get more specific or less specific. But if it's just telling me how to get more sales, that's really general, right? If it's telling me how to talk to prospects, we're getting more specific. If it's how to have a meeting with a prospect, that's being more specific. A phone meeting, okay, great. But we're talking about a 5-minute meeting. So greater scheme of things, that's good and specific. If you have a number in your headline, and you're willing to stand behind the number, that communicates credibility to you, okay? So that's a unique headline, and that's an ultra-specific headline, not very good. Last U, is it useful?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I think we're pretty much in agreement on that one. This is a useful headline. This is in line with what you want to accomplish as a business person. Here's the rule with the scoring system. If the headline scores okay in 3 of the 4 U's, chances are it's going to work well for you. So that's how the scoring system works. It's almost impossible to get all 4 of them in there. And when you create your headline in just a minute, you're going to find that urgent is the hardest one to get in there because it has to be time sensitive. You can't fake urgent, right? So we're going to focus on those 3. And if you can get urgent in there, if your product is time sensitive, then you go for it because that's a powerful thing. So here's how we're going to do the hands-on portion of this workshop. What we do is we have you break into groups of 3. And if it works better to do a group of 2, that's fine. But I want you to be able to collaborate in small groups on this. And within your group, we're going to decide briefly whose business you're going to focus on. There's going to be somebody in your group, you're going to decide whose business you're going to focus on, and then you're going to collaborate on creating an irresistible headline using this handout as a guide. So here's 3 quick tips. I'm just going to help you get started with this. Because you might be thinking, oh, my mind is blank right now, it's after lunchtime and I'm tired. Everybody seems really tired. Is that just me? Oh my goodness. Yes, so maybe there should have been coffee here or something. That's a great time for coffee. So we're going to have you into these small groups. Here's 3 quick tips to get you started. Once you've decided on whose business you're going to write a headline for, narrow it down to one product or service that you're about to talk about, okay? So just make it simple. If you offer a whole bunch of services, pick one. If you have books for sale, pick one book that you would like to sell. All right, so we're going to focus it and just kind of narrow it down. Second tip, start with just one U. Try to create a useful headline. Right? Try to create a really unique headline, and then work your way up from there. You can add more as you kind of throw your ideas around. All right? So go ahead and just narrow it down to one. Start with one U, and then the third tip is narrow it down to one marketing channel. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay guys, we're going to write the email subject line. Or we're going to write the first line of my Facebook post. Or we're going to write a headline for a direct mail. Maybe a postcard. So that'll help you narrow it down as you kind of work on this in your mind. So go ahead and start breaking up into groups. I'm going to be walking around. You can ask me questions, bounce ideas off me. Guys, if you're feeling tired, if your mind is blank right now, this is why I'm having you collaborate. I've done this workshop many times before, and I'm telling you, the results have been great. Once you start to really throw stuff around, it's going to start coming to you, okay? So go ahead and start breaking up into groups. I'll give you a few minutes to do this.